I'm glad to welcome you to Meet the Speaker, a live series with speakers from the upcoming 3-day online immersive conference, Awake in Stillness, The End of Dreaming, taking place from November 8th to 10th. This series is designed to give you a brief taste of the direct experience that you can expect from each session during the conference. Jon Mundy is the publisher of Miracles Magazine and director of the All-Faiths Seminary Miracle Studies program in New York City. He taught university courses in philosophy and religion from 1967 to 2008. And as the author of 11 books, his best-selling book is Living A Course in Miracles, now in 8 languages. He was introduced to the course by its scribe, Dr. Helen Schucman, in 1975. Jon's conference session is titled Awakening in the Dream. His session acknowledges that before we can fully awaken from the dreams of our world, it is helpful to begin to awaken within the dream. We can then begin to responsibly develop some control over the dream, within the dream, until we can awaken altogether. So, Jon, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as we were talking about earlier, with the time that we have today, could you just take 10 to 15 minutes to give us a taste of your session by encapsulating some of this essence of awakening in the dream for us?
Sure. Well, first of all, the overall topic is waking in stillness. But interesting enough, I've been talking for a while already about awakening in the dream, because this is a concept that is hardly new. It's as ancient Hindu and Buddhist teachings, and even before that, going back really as far as we can into the Vedas, for example. Right? So the idea is, and this is in the Course in Miracles very, very clearly, that this whole world is a dream. Now, it's easy enough to see that we make it up, just like we make up a dream at night. Now, when you're dreaming at night, a story happens, something happens. You're in a hotel. Recently, I had this dream that I was in a hotel somewhere, and it was a really big hotel, and I couldn't find the exit. I mean, that is a very typical dream. You can't find the exit, or you missed your plane, or whatever it is that's going on. There's some little frustration element that's in there, something you got to do that didn't get done. So dreaming has been an important concept for all of human consciousness. Go back to the Bible. Joseph has the dreams, for the Pharaoh about what's going on. The ancients like to look at their dreams a lot. Joseph is told in a dream to take Mary and Jesus and to flee into Egypt, right? So often the shepherds are told in dreams, the wise men get messages in dreams. There's nothing new about dreams. In fact, as Sigmund Freud said, that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. If we want to start knowing what's going on with somebody, you want to get into that unconscious, you got to look at the dreams because they're coming up. And then, of course, beyond that, Jung says we got to get to the collective dream. The collective dream, for example, of mythologies. So we take a mythology, we take a story. Again, it's a story, and we look at it and we figure out what the meaning is. Take, for example, the story of Adam and Eve. There's an interesting line in the beginning of the Course in Miracles where it says that a deep sleep fell upon Adam. This says in the Bible, a deep sleep fell upon Adam, and nowhere is there any reference to his waking up. Right? So we're all Adam, and we're all still dreaming. And we're dreaming, the Course in Miracles says, your nighttime dream, your daytime dream, it has a different form, that's all. So we're dreaming in the daytime. We're actually dreaming, right? And we're dreaming that we're doing this interview. I'm giving this talk, and you're listening to it. All that stuff is going on within the context of the dream. When Buddha has his great enlightenment, right? He comes back to the deer park at Benares, and the disciples, he has disciples already, but they had left him because he got worldly. He started eating, so they left him. And then once he's by himself, he has the awakening experience, the enlightenment experience. He goes back to the deer park at Benares. They see him coming, and they say, there's something different about you. What is it? And his answer is, I'm awake. I'm awake. I woke up. Woke up. So to wake up in that sense, like when you wake up in the morning, you may be very much aware that you're having a dream during the night, but you're also very much aware of the fact that you are now transitioning from the dream state to the awakening, saying, by the way, I think it's really important for us to pay attention to our nighttime dreams. And the best way to do it is just to wake up slowly. Don't just jump out of bed, but try to, I'm dreaming. Okay, what am I dreaming? Begin to review the dream within the context of the dream. Look, see very often if there's some kind of message that's coming for you as well. I write a lot, and I mean, I write every Sunday. I have an article, and seeing how I've got to have that done by Saturday, in order for it to be published on Sunday mornings. And I want to look at what's coming up there because there's really the ideas are fresh, they're new. There's often like just a word or a phrase, and yesterday it was the futility of the ego. I know, and has to do with politics, right? I'm not going to get into politics. I don't want to talk about a dream. I mean, there's a dream for you. I mean, that's a dream world for sure, right? And it's an ego's dream world, right? So we create a world, we create a fantasy world, but it is a fantasy world. So what the Course in Miracles is trying to do, it's trying to help us, just like in the ancient days, to wake up slowly, gently. If you wake up too suddenly, and especially if it's a frightening dream that's going on, you don't know what's going on. But this idea is nothing new, as I said. I don't know if you know G.R. Gurdjieff, a philosopher from the early part of the 20th century, said everybody is sleepwalking. You can see everybody's sleepwalking, so we got to do something to help wake people up. So it's not a matter of waking from the dream. Eventually, it's waking from the dream. But what I'm interested in talking to people about in the first place is just awakening in the dream. So if I awaken in the dream, this is like lucid dreaming. So if you have a lucid dream, what's going on in the lucid dream is that you're aware of the fact that you're dreaming within the context of the dream. So that's very helpful. If you can just watch and you get to see that this is kind of it's a play that's going on. This is a story. This is a drama maybe that's going on, and am I getting caught in the dream? Am I playing into the dream? Am I getting upset about what's going on? Or can I, what the conference is about, come to stillness in the dream? And if I can come to stillness in the dream, then that's very, very helpful because then I can see the dream without becoming attached to the dream. So, of course, in Miracles, for example, says that anger is never justified. Never. The word is never justified. And then the next paragraph, first sentence is attack has no foundation. Anger is never justified. Attack has no foundation. So that means that if I'm getting into that state, if I see that state of consciousness developing inside me, I really want to stop. And I want to look and think, why am I going there? Why would my mind want to go into anger? Is there some sort of justification for my anger, my attack thoughts that I'm having? That's just getting deeper into the dream. In fact, as the deeper you get into that kind of dreaming, the more justification you may think that you have to go to war or do some awful thing within the context of the dream, which is really, wait, stop. You're going way too far with this silly dreaming stuff. But if I can wake up, then what happens is I accept responsibility for the dream. Oh, this is my dream. I'm having this particular dream. So another thing that's very, very important in the Course in Miracles is an emphasis on responsibility. So chapter 21, section 2 in the course, there's a thing I ask all the students I work with on a regular basis to memorize. It's just 3 sentences, but 4 ideas. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience. I decide upon the goal I would achieve, and everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for, and I receive as I have asked. So I'm having this experience. So I asked for this screaming kid to be screaming at me right now. Okay, well, you did. I mean, this is your grandson. And so what are you going to do? How do you respond to the screaming kid? Well, you can go crazy, or you can think about where he's at, and you can sit down with him. Don't scold him. That just makes it worse. Yeah. Sit down with him. And the fact is, I lived through this not long ago. So, so got 2 grandchildren here at the house, all right? And it's one of them birthday, and the birthday boy gets the Star Trek guy, Buzz Lightyear, I should say, right? The model. And his older brother picks it up and starts playing with it just like it. My toy, my toy. You know, now we got a fight going on, right? Now we got anger going on. And then he runs off and he falls on the couch and he starts crying. And I realize what has to be done right away, which is, first of all, don't attack him. Let him be who he is. That's a very important concept in the course. Let him be who he is. Seek not to make of love an enemy. So he's laying on the couch now, kicking his feet in the air like this, right? So I just go and I sit on the couch next to him. I don't do it, just sit next to him. And then he eventually stops kicking. And then I reach out and just touch his back a little bit. Just touch it. Don't do anything, just touch it, right? And then a couple minutes later, he's turning around, he's putting his head in my lap. It's all over. Nothing happened, right? So it's dealing with the insanity that also exists in the world. The world is filled with insanity, right? The course is very clear. This is an insane world. And never underestimate the extent of its insanity. I mean, all you got to do is look at what's going on right now. We're at a peak point of insanity internationally with wars, nationally with what's going on in our political system, right? Now, do I go crazy because the world is crazy, or can I maintain my sense of equilibrium? Let things be what they are. Whatever's going to happen is what's going to happen. We'll live through this one way or the other. But but lucidity means a lot. Lucidity means more than that. Lucidity also means things like balance and honesty, transparency, clarity, right? The word lucidity means clarity, right? To be clear in the dream so that I am living a life that I'm not going crazy, first of all. And I know how to take care of the piece of the world that is going crazy, partly by letting it be what it is, but partly also by learning to love the thing, you know? The answer isn't fight, fight, fight. The answer is let all things be exactly there. Love what's going on. That's the answer. So it's really simple, but it's a matter of doing it. And it's really a matter of raising our level of consciousness and awareness up to the point where we can see what's going on in the world, in all of our relationships. And this is relationships in terms of A Course in Miracles. This is the training ground. This is where most of the work gets done, right? And so be careful, by the way, about who you choose as your partners in life, because just keep in mind, this is your trainer. So this is the person you're going to be learning the most from, right, in terms of your own personal psychic growth and development. So choose our teachers well, because that's what's going to be. It's going to be, this is a teacher that I'm going to be working with. It's very simple in that sense. It's just a matter, the course has got so many principles that we begin, for example, I won't go through them. We don't have time. 10 characteristics of a teacher of God. If you practice each of these principles, well, I'm not going to go through them. We don't have time. But the first one is trust. And there are 6 stages in development of trust. I'm not going to go through all of them. But the first 3 are all about relinquishing, undoing, sorting out, letting go, relinquishing. It's disrobing, letting the ego go. That's the primary thing. Recognizing the ego in me, not in you. It's easy enough to find it in you. The hard part is finding it, being willing to recognize it in me, and then going through that process of relinquishing, letting it go, surrendering it, and then doing the responsible thing. It's so simple. The next step, I won't go through it, is honesty. But this world needs honesty so very badly, you know. Well, anyhow, I think we're about the end of our time. I don't have an exact clock to look at to time it, but that's what this is all about. Awakening in the dream, seeing the dream, being the authentic being that you and I were meant to be, not as dreamers, but as, in Course in Miracles terms, the Christ mind. That's Buddha saying, I'm awake. Jesus, he doesn't say anything till after that wandering in the wilderness experience. No ministry till after that experience first. He goes out, he has that experience. And by the way, you go spend 40 days and 40 nights alone in the desert, you're going to have an experience. It's for sure. And fast during this time, you will definitely have an experience, right? He comes back from that, and not till that point does he say anything by way of ministry. And what he says at that point, the first words are, I and the Father are one. Whoa, what a revelation. You and the Father are one. I and the Father, all are one. But to get to that level, that's phenomenal. Most of us can't begin to get to that level because we are so distracted by the world. I had this wonderful experience with COVID. I was 24 days locked in a room. I had a pretty bad case. I almost died. 3 different doctors all said, we thought you weren't going to make it, right? 3/4 of the way through that, I thought I was going to die. And I had this thing at one night, 2, 3 o'clock, I don't know what, sometime in the morning, I heard a voice. And the voice said very clearly, go or stay, either way, you will not lose your mind. That's all it said, just that. But that was so comforting. Go or stay, either way, you're not going to lose anything. One thing you cannot lose, you cannot lose your mind. I think I'll stop.
Wow, love that. Love ending with that. So much there. It makes me very excited for your session. And something that I'll definitely want to hear more about with you related to seeing the other form of the dream, the non-asleep dream, and seeing what the events in our lives symbolize, similar to interpreting our sleeping dreams and what those symbolize. So really appreciate you taking us through that and giving us that taste. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Sure, Jack. Happy to help.
Yeah. Yeah. So for everybody watching now or later, this will be up later. We hope that you'll join us at the Awaken Stillness Conference from November 8th to 10th. Again, that's November 8th to 10th for more direct experience teaching just like this, to dig deeper and to really look into what it means to perhaps awaken from the dream, but also awaken in the dream and lucid dream as we go through this process. Again, you can register for free at centerforowakening.org, and we hope to see you there. So